Hey everyone, I'm Fletcher and welcome to my video. In this video, I'll be analyzing a game of Skud Pai Sho between me and Skud Pai Sho. If you don't know how to play Skud Pai Sho, I'll leave a link in the description to a video where you can go and learn. Now because Skud Pai Sho is hosting, he got first pick at accent tiles. He chose one of each. I chose 2 rock, 1 reed, and 1 boat. That's actually a misclick. Instead of the reed, I was meant to click a wheel, but I don't realize this until later in the game. Because I'm the guest, I get to choose which tile goes out first, and I chose a white 3. I then play at my red 5. This is a pretty standard opening. He then moves his white 3, which threw me a little. I was expecting him to play a red 5 or a white 4 here. So I decided to take up the northern gate with my white 3. Looking back on it, this probably wasn't the best idea, as I'll show you later in the game. Just makes my moves a little slower. He plays a red 5 into the eastern gate, and I start moving up my red 5 to try and get a harmony with this white 3. He then plays a white 4, and I play my red 5 to try and get this harmony here. He moves his white 4 out here to try and start forming harmonies with this white 3. Instead of moving instantly into a harmony, I move my white 3 out of the northern gate so that when I get into harmony, I can play a red 5 up here. If I left that white 3 up there, then the harmony, then I wouldn't have anything to play for my harmony bonus. He moves his white 3 down here. I'm expecting he's going to harmonize with his red 5. I harmonize my white 3 and red 5 and put a red 5 into the northern gate. And as expected, he harmonizes the white 3 and red 5 here, and puts a red 5 into the southern gate, blocking me from being able to place anything there. I move out my red 5 to harmonize with my white 3, and I play a rock here to try and cancel out any kind of harmony rings that he might have going on here. He then moves his red 5 and white 3, moves his red 5 to harmonize with the white 3, and plays an orchid into the northern gate. I can see a ring kind of forming here, but I wasn't too concerned because I have this rock, and you'll need at least a couple moves to get around that. I move my white 3 to harmonize with my red 5, and I place my reed here. This is the turn that I noticed I didn't have my wheel, so I thought I would make use of my not reed and place it here. He then moves his orchid to block out any harmonies that I might be trying to force down this vertical, and restrict my red 5, which really annoyed me. So I started trying to figure out ways of getting around this lock, and I moved my white 3 so I can harmonize with my red 5. He moves his white 3, harmonized with a red 4 and red 5 and white 4, also getting away from that not reed, and plays a rock here, just to try and make it harder to harmonize on the vertical, on this side of the map. I move my red 5, as I stated, to harmonize with my white 3, and play a lotus tile. At this point I was thinking if I can get my lotus tile around here, then I can move my white 3 and harmonize. Now that rock is starting to look a little more powerful, because instead of having to get it here and I can wheel out, I'll need to actually move this and move that. He then moves his red 5 to harmonize here, plays a white 3 into the eastern gate, and I can see this harmony ring starting to form with these 4 tiles. To try and break up that ring, I played a boat, forcing his white 3 back into the knotweed and breaking up any harmonies here. He then moves his white 3 to harmonize with his white 4, and because he already has a tile in the gate, he can't really play anything. Playing an accent tile at this point would just be a waste. So I start moving my white 3 out to try and work with that lotus tile. He then moves his white 3 to harmonize with this red 5, and plays a white 4 up here. Now I'm expecting he's going to play the white 4 down, move it to down here or here to try and block some of these harmonies. I move my lotus tile out to harmonize with my white 3. I didn't have enough moves to move it down here yet. So now I put those into harmony, and am trying to figure out what to do next. Obviously, I'm going to try and move this down, but I doubt it's going to be that easy. He moves his white 4 to break the harmony between these two, as I thought he would. So I move my lotus tile to harmonize with this red 5 and play a red 4 tile. Looking back on it, I don't think it was the best idea. I was just trying to get rid of this white 4 tile. I was thinking if I can capture it and move it away, then that will form my harmony ring. But there's some other moves like playing an orchid, so I can take this orchid. That would have been a better play, would have made this game a little faster for me, putting on the pressure more. He plays red 4 into the eastern gate. I assume he was trying to harmonize with this and hopefully, or maybe move it over here. I take his white 4 and play my orchid, which I'm aiming to take this orchid to free up the red 5. Now, it does kind of look like a harmony ring, but these two don't harmonize. So, these two don't harmonize. So that doesn't really work. I could next turn just move this out of the way and try and form the harmony ring, but he plays Nutweed, affecting both of these tiles. I've been waiting the whole game for him to play his Nutweed. This was the perfect time for him, and at this point I just didn't know what to do. So I take his orchid, as I planned, trying to buy myself some more time. I was thinking I could maybe move this down here to start to attack one of these, or move it across here to attack one of these. And he moves his white 3, harmonized with his red 5. Now I'm starting to be a little anxious at this ring. He also plays a white 5 into the western gate. I play my red 4 to harmonize with my red 5. I was thinking if I can somehow get my red 5 down here, that'll form the harmony ring I'm wanting. But I couldn't quite figure out how to do that yet. He plays his white 3 to harmonize with his white 4, blocking off this harmony. And at this point, I'm thinking if I bring my orchid down here, I would be able to take, and he takes, which he can take because I have my lotus blooming. So I take, he takes, and then I can move this down here and maybe wheel out. And then, I play this down here to harmonize and start trying to form that ring. The only thing that was being able to take out one of these two, I believe would have given me a good advantage. But something unexpected happens. He takes my lotus, he takes my orchids, so he was kind of a gambit. I was thinking if he takes my orchid, then I could just move my red 5 down here. But I didn't think I'd actually do it. And of course, I moved my red 5 down here, forming the ring and winning the game. Now, this was his bad move right here, capturing my orchid with his white 3. What I believe he should have done is just kept them here, maybe moved his white 3 down this way, or white 5 down this way, to harmonize with this, and playing something else to try and get this ring down here. But it didn't turn out that way. Unfortunately, he didn't see that my red 5 could move down here, and I moved down there and formed my ring. Now, I hope you've learned something from this game. If you're going to take someone's orchid, make sure they can't form the harmony ring. Always think your moves through, and don't misclick. There were points early in the game where if I had my wheel, I could have easily won, but I had to work around not having a wheel. I hope you enjoyed this analysis. I've got more to come in the future, as well as making videos on openings and different strategies and different combos that you can play to help with your games. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you have any questions. Thank you.